Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the hour has arrived. I call this meeting to order, and I'm going to ask Mr. Johnson, if he would please, to give the invocation. Let's fire ahead.
Father, we do thank you again for allowing us to come to handle our city business. We ask you for knowledge and wisdom today to make the right decisions that we may lead our people on. We ask you to bless our businesses, our city. We ask you to bless the state, the federal government, and our soldiers on the battlefield. Those that are sick and bereaved, in your name I do pray. Amen.
Amen. Let's stand and pledge allegiance to the flag of our country. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Gentlemen, you've got the agenda before you. Are there any modifications that you'd like to make to the agenda? That sounds good. I don't either. So I entertain a motion that we approve the printed agenda.
So moved.
Motion is made by Mr. Griffin, seconded by Mr. Johnson, that we approve the agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no opposition, the agenda is approved. Okay, now the first item again, as we went over this Monday night at our work session, is this standard watershed protection plan that's required with our environmentalist people. It's it endures for a pretty good period of time. It's printed and before you. You looked at it Monday night. But I think that we're in the position tonight that we want to accept it and approve it. So could someone make that motion?
I offer a motion that the watershed protection plan be approved.
Okay, is there a second? Second. So I heard somebody down here first. I don't know who, you heard it?
That was John.
Bloodworth, all right, seconded by Mr. Bloodworth. Any further discussion about it?
This had come up to the RDC, to the council.
That's
We
correct.
dealt with this over there several times, and this needs to be handled sometime.
It should have been handled some time ago. That's right,
Yeah.
it's late, but we're getting it done.
Thank
Any
you.
further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we've accepted it. It's finally taken care of. Thank you. All right, on the, you've got before you a contract with the work prison detail that we get here daily, weekly, around the year. This contract is the same as it was last year. And I entertain a motion that you'll authorize me to sign the contract.
Make a motion that the mayor signs the contract.
Mr. Bloodworth's making a motion that the mayor sign the contract on behalf of the city. Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Ranger. Any further discussion about the contract with the prison work detail?
Is this the Bacon County?
That's right. That's correct. Any further discussion about the prison work detail? Hearing none, a call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no opposition, we've approved the contract with the prisoners for another year. All right, let's go to item number 3. Ken Smith, our attorney, and I worked, we worked on it, and he and I met yesterday, and there were some modifications that we wanted to make to the contract with our fuel supplier at the airport. We have emailed those suggestions that our attorney suggests to them and asked if they would incorporate it within the contract and get back with us. So we'll not be able to make a final decision tonight, but I will briefly tell you the change that we've made. We've made the change that during what the fuel company is to do at the airport, the old key system for paying and credit card machine and whatnot, all payments at the airport is made with that fuel credit card machine. The pilot, if he hadn't got a credit card, he can't get fuel out there, jet fuel and regular avgas. It's been having some problems, so Cody, the airport manager, came in and said we've got to replace it. So we got busy, and the fuel company, I asked them to participate, since I knew that in my experience in past, fuel companies will help with that sort of thing, and they have agreed to do that. They agreed to pay half of it, $7,500, and not even require us to pay. They're going to pay for the whole thing up front, accepting half the cost themselves, and telling us that they wanted us to participate by paying so much per gallon for fuel over the next 4 or 5 years to pay our portion. And they sent a contract to that effect. When Ken and I got to looking at it, There was a little bit something that he wanted to correct. We have emailed it back to them, and it should be back in our hands shortly. But basically, it's like you see it there with minor modifications. Did you put a copy of those changes on? Oh, y'all got them there?
Everyone's got it.
Oh, okay, good, good.
Buddy, do you have it?
Have y'all had a chance to read those over, and look it over? I'll tell you what you might do to save us, because they're real anxious now for us to, we need to get the new technology and equipment mounted out there. If y'all will agree to those changes, and I feel sure that the folks will accept them, y'all can authorize me as soon as they get it modified to execute the contract on this thing, or you can delay it, whatever you decide.
You want a motion on
Yeah, well, if it's up to y'all, if y'all want to, if they
it? I
accept.
looked at it, I'll make a motion that we
I have
accept
no
it.
problem with it.
Okay, well, John's made a motion that as soon as they get these corrections and all that, they're minor modifications, and we're gonna, if they don't do it, we'll get back with y'all. If they accept these modifications and send them back to us, will y'all authorize me to sign the contract?
Second the motion.
All right, Bloodwell's made the motion, Mr. Raines seconded the motion. Any further discussion about dealing with the oil company out at the airport about renewing, buying some new equipment for the credit card machine?
Let me just get clarity here, Mr. Bloodmore. You said you are making the motion, providing that they take and approve the contract corrections that our attorney has sent to. Okay, okay, just clarity.
Any other discussions relative to this matter? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, if it comes back like we've suggested, in fact, those are the things that I asked him to look at, and he agreed with it. If it comes back like that, we will sign it, and we'll be in business and have us a new credit card machine out there. All right, let's move along. Environmental approval. Oh, this is the Housing Authority.
Yes, sir.
All right, Ms. Sharon.
Shannon.
Shannon out there, yes, here we got Sharon and Shannon. Y'all got that before you, the new contract with environmental assessment approval that they want us to sign, and it's been prepared, ready for me to send to HUD. Are y'all ready for me to, let me see if I can make this a little clearer for the benefit of the audience. Environmental assessment approval for capital fund program grant. This is to advise you, this is a letter to HUD coming from the mayor of Hazlehurst. This is to advise you that the activities to be undertaken under the Hazlehurst Housing Authority fiscal year 2019 and 5-year action plan for rehabilitation work are exempt from the environmental review. In other words, this is just telling them that nothing that they're doing out there over the next 5 years is going to impact it, and that they'd like for us to send a letter and notify them.
I'll make a motion to take and authorize the mayor to sign the letter on the housing authority, on behalf of the housing authority to send to HUD.
Second.
The motion has been made by Mr. Griffin, seconded by Mr. Johnson, that y'all authorize me to notify HUD as upon the request of the Hazlehurst Housing Authority. Any further discussion? Pardon?
That's not the original letter now.
That's not going to be signed, okay. I see what you're trying to do. All right, okay, yes, ma'am. Any further discussion? I was thinking, she had a letter in front of me, I was thinking, sign it, well, rude. Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is carried. I will sign the correct letter on
Yes,
behalf
sir.
of the Housing Authority. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Let's move on. And I know, all right, next is number 5. And I know y'all have done your homework and you've got all the designs and sketches of everything y'all want to do with the cemetery, and y'all ready to lay it out and approve it. That's a joke. I know you'll have done a dadgum thing. You've been working on it for a month. Okay, what are we gonna do about it?
Well, I say take the time to go through some more of it.
We're gonna have to.
Gentlemen, I'm gonna make a recommendation, and y'all hash it out and then get it back here tonight. Let's get this thing settled. If you remember, when we've gone over 1 road, 2 roads, and filled the cemetery out there, and we've had to go to the last section, let's say that where the audience is sitting out here is a road here where we're sitting, and there's another section and in the woods. That's all the cemetery we got left, and it goes back a good ways. I have already gone out there probably 2 years ago and laid out from the road, Yankee Paradise Road, to the 1st Division Road. and it's working fine, and I've done it in segments, and Ms. Kim says that it's working real well. From that road, we need to go another section. If y'all will authorize me, I will do the same thing here. I will duplicate it in the next section, we'll go down to another road, with the exception that right about the middle, like where those two things there for Mr., the young man sitting there, right in that area, we'll do a square of suitable. I'll check with other cemeteries and see what they've done to accommodate crematory remains, and get a little segment so if somebody wants to buy a single lot there, we'll be able to sell it. If y'all would like me to, and I'll do that at no cost if y'all want me to.
I think that, for me, what you're saying would be good to have a place just for crematory, but my problem would be the lots that's already, if they want to put people in those lots, is what I think we're gonna have to deal with.
That we can already do that. There's nothing to keep them from, well, wait a minute, though, the thing says one per lot.
That's
So,
right.
okay, all right, what I've suggested, and thank you, Mr. Johnson, you're on the ball. Okay, you also need to get our attorney to notify Ken that we need to modify the area so that when they deal with crematory remains, and we'll specify how many crematory remains can be put in a lot. That's the only thing we need to change.
Didn't in our work session that we discussed that Ken was gonna be looking into these things, including the bench, et cetera, that he was looking
Yes,
into?
yes.
Well, now that's another, yeah, thank you, Rainey. I personally think that if they're gonna get into a bench thing, you get into the total regulation of a mausoleum, and you're talking about a really expensive thing there that, but yes, that's part of it. All right, do you want me to, well, no, I better wait till Ken gets through. Let's just wait on our attorney. Let's don't get ahead of our attorney. That's where I say leave it right now. If that suits y'all, okay? Are you ready to move on?
Yes.
All right. Number 6, this is our hot potato. Is that our real hot potato?
Yes, sir.
It's still too hot to peel. Let's let it cool a little. I met with Ken yesterday. This is a contract, ladies and gentlemen, that we are attempting to privatize some of our garbage pickup around town. And we've run into some difficulties with the previous contract with the operator of the transfer station itself. And we've made some movements, and we need to make some adjustments. The contract is not complete, and the last thing we told you Monday night, if any of you were here, was that the attorney asked for more time, and when to work on it. And when we got through with our session yesterday, he asked me to tell you that he has not completed it, so it's still pending. So the circumstances with reference to our lease and waste services agreement letter and contract, and the letter that he sent is not has not been satisfied, and we're still in limbo in that area. Any comments or other remarks other than what I said about that?
I think you're absolutely correct.
Okay. Anybody else down on this end? Well, that sounds good. Let's move on. Ms. Thompson, I believe this is your meeting in Birmingham.
Yes, sir.
You've got the information that our clerk is a district officer, and in turn going to these various functions, she's found out that she wants to be a bigwig with the clerks, and well, she already is. But she wants to go to the international conference, international conference, and they normally are, say, St. Louis or New York or California or somewhere. Guess where they are this year? Birmingham, Alabama. It's the closest one's going to be for a number of years. And Ms. Bernice has asked that she be allowed to attend this conference in Birmingham on May the 18th and 19th. The cost is about $1,500. Do I entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion for Ms. Thompson to attend the Birmingham conference.
Mr. Bloodworth has made a motion that we approve her to attend this international conference. Is there a second? Or second by Mr. Rainey. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, behave yourself.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now then, Ms. Lori, you got the information?
Yes, sir. I do.
You got that?
You should have it before you also in your packets. In Rome, Georgia, let me make sure, May the 13th and 14th, There are actually three classes that she needs to attend. Records Management, Professional Skills 203, actually two classes. And then, of course, her hotel, which is in Rome, for a total cost of $526.20 and her mileage.
Okay,
GMA.
okay, I entertain a motion, we approve the training
Make a
for,
motion to approve.
Mr. Bloodworth made a motion that we approve the training for Ms. Lori Williams. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Ramey. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is carried. All right, I entertain a motion that we approve the water and sewer adjustments, the report to council, and the check register. Those three items. 9, 10, and 11. For those of you in the audience, these are regular routines of telling you the minor, sometimes we have extremely bad burst pipes, somebody water running all over the house for a day and they've been on vacation and the bill's tremendous, and there's minor adjustments that Ms. Williams, who we just mentioned, handles this. There's adjustments with that, and we get a report, we've got it up here, what those adjustments are. And of course, the check register, and also our year-to-date usage and where we're up or down in water and sewer funds. It's a good report that's laid on our desk every month, so we keep up with it. And what I've just asked the council to do is to approve these three reports. And I believe Bloodworth made the motion to approve it, and I heard Johnson seconded. Any further discussion?
No, sir, he made the motion, I second.
Well, hey, I was close enough, leave me alone. All right. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's taken care of. Now, before we get to citizens' comment, I want to introduce you to a new employee, to the group out here, the audience, and to the council. A lot of these men have no idea. I want to stand up for you with Tony. This is Tony Parisi. Pronounce it.
Parisi.
Parisi.
Spell it, please.
P as in Paul, A-R-I-S-E.
Tony.
City of Paris with an E. I've said that 5 times today.
Y'all know that we've had a lot of problems out at the golf course lately, staffing and with labor. And all of a sudden, this man was out there playing golf a little day or two ago, and helped Wesley with some equipment stuff out there. And happened to mention to Wesley about the fact that he was sort of semi-retired and was looking for something to do. And it didn't take us long to saddle him up and put a harness and a saddle on him. And he's ready to ride. But at any rate, this is Tony, and he's going to be responsible for helping us look after the golf course. And already, he's already shown that he's every mower out there. He's more than equipped to run it, look about it.
Welcome aboard.
And he's, I think he's going to be a tremendous asset, Tony, and we look forward to having you.
I'm on my way to
Wait a
Water
minute.
Greens.
Yeah. All right, wait a minute before you go. Would
Yes,
the
sir.
council like to ask him any questions or anything? He can handle it, I'll assure you.
He said
Welcome
he would
aboard.
order green.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you, man.
It's okay if I go water some greens? I'm joking.
Drive
one
the
thing
green
I-
more than all those more out there?
Thank you. Looking forward to it. Thank you very
All
much.
right.
Thank you, Mr.
The one thing that I would like to say about Tony, with me doing the paperwork and everything, thank you for your service to our country.
Oh,
He's a
thank you.
former Marine,
Thank you.
Rock.
so,
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
okay. Welcome aboard.
Thank you, Tony. You got your keys and everything,
I do,
right?
sir. Yes, sir. I
We've
do.
already put him to work.
Yes.
All right, okay, citizen comments. Citizen comments. Good gracious, Ronnie, you mean to tell me you're zipped up tonight?
I'm zipping up tonight.
Matt, good to have you.
Yes, sir.
How long's the contract that the public's got?
It ends in 2025. 2025.
What happens if y'all can't come to an agreement on that?
Well, so that's more than I can get into right now. Hey, look,
That's a $6 million question.
I wish I could answer it for you. If you'd like to meet with me, maybe tomorrow sometime in my office, I will try to explain some of the circumstances. But it's nothing that we can't handle. It's sort of routine, day-to-day troubles that we run into.
Yeah.
But it'll be resolved without any problem, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
He'll have to meet with you next week, office is closed tomorrow.
She said, well, he can meet me tomorrow if he wants to, just because y'all look and I'm not. Okay, all right, any other citizen comments? Young man, I forgot your first name again.
Matt.
Yeah, Matt, you got anything you'd like to say to the council?
No, sir, I was just glad to get to sit in and be able to write this article about it.
Yeah, well, I hope that we've given you something to write about. Normally, our meetings, I try to start on time and stop on time. We designate an hour, but because we hashed most of this out Monday night, and, yeah, I'm gonna get to that. We hashed most of this out Monday night, we're handling things pretty well down. Now, another thing that the council needs to do is that finally, we some months ago approved, and they should mention something about it on the state patrol post. Y'all approved the resolution that the state real estate people sit down. If you'll remember in the minutes, you approved all this stuff previously. But Ken has taken, he's got two resolutions. Where's the other one, honey?
It's up
Oh,
under.
is it under this one?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank
that's
you,
right.
yeah. All right. Let's deal with the first one first. The resolution of the city of Hazelhurst ratifying all actions undertaken as of this date. That's what I was telling you right there. That we've already made all of the actions, but this is a method of Ken as our attorney solidifying and bringing up to date with this thing. Undertaken as of this date, things that we've already done, and furtherance of the resolution of September 20th, 2018, including ratification of the purchase of land, an agreement with the Georgia Department of Safety for the relocation of the Georgia State Patrol Post to Hazelhurst, Georgia, authorizing the city to obtain construction financing with Renaissance Bank and long-term financing through the Georgia Municipal Association. So what this does is just sort of roll it all together and ratify what's been done into one capsule. I entertain a motion that this council approve me to sign this.
So moved.
I make a motion.
Mr. Ramey's made a motion that I sign this,
Second.
and it's, I believe,
Second.
Griffin made this second ahead of you, John. Any further discussion relative to signing this, what do you call it, ratifying all other actions? Is there any further questions about it?
No, sir.
Okay, no question. Then I entertain a vote, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no opposition, I will sign the same. Is this the one you want me to sign, or is it another one?
There's another one.
All right, I'll sign it. All right, the other now is mayor and council, the city of Hazelhurst reimbursement resolution. This is something that Ken again put together for us. At the end of this thing, end of this contract, we're getting temporary financing through Renaissance Bank to build a new state patrol post. At the end of this period, this money and this thing has got to be, everybody's got to be reimbursed. We've got to put it back into the city funds. And then another thing, when we get through with this, we got to convey it to the state of Georgia. In the end, it's going to wind up being, well, at such time when the thing is paid for. But the reason this is important is because we're going through GMA with the long-term financing, and that's the reason that this is necessary. Any clarifications or anything else that y'all want to ask about this? Y'all are easy to get along with. I entertain a motion that you authorize me to sign this.
Make a motion for you to sign
Mr. Bloodworth made a motion that I sign it. It's seconded by who?
Second.
Rainey. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is carried. I will sign on your behalf both of these documents and get it done. By the way, we can't, because of this, it's held up some of our financing, and this will take care of a lot of headaches that we've been waiting on. And for your information, we've been working on relocating. The old post is up in Helena McRae, if you know where Helena McRae is. It's been there for about 50 or 60 years. It's old, and the state has been wanting for several years to relocate that post and get a new one. And we just happen to be lucky enough to put it all together and get it to Hazelhurst. So it'll be sitting out there with us for the next 40 or 50 years. And for those of you that may not know, when that post is sitting there, even though they serve several counties, that will increase our law enforcement in our county of Hazelhurst and Jeff Davis County by about 25 or 30% without us spending a dime, just because they're located here. And on top of that, we've got a number of state employees. Of course, their fueling won't amount to a lot, but there'll be other things involved. Now, right now, some people are confused. They think the driver's license is attached to the state patrol. It's not. It's two different divisions. You've got a driver services area and a border public safety. We're just getting the state patrol post, but we're well on the way of getting the driver services unit here too, and I'll tell you why. They wouldn't be interested in bringing the driver services unit here just for regular driver's license. But Hazelhurst, Georgia is an area of tremendous volume of trucks. And because of Williams Brothers and Wooten and Sun One Logistics, Beasley, and all these trucks running here, they do need another location for CDL, commercial driver's license. And because of that need, the commissioners told us that it looks very favorable that they might can put something together for us, and we're working on it hard. So that will bring, not only you can get regular driver's license here, but also you've got a big area where they come in with trucks and they have to do all sorts of routines and pass the examination for truck drivers. And we're hoping, I'm not saying it's complete yet, but we're hoping that that's going to be next. Any other questions? Gentlemen, any of you would like to make a speech?
Yeah, I want to get it on our record. I said at the workshop, I want to thank the city, the people of Jeff Davis County. Last weekend, we had a large number of people that helped a program here for a lady that passed. This was her home, and they came back to put a thing in the museum. The museum was very, very helpful. The city was helpful. They packed out the motels and things. They thought they had to go to Douglas, and they found out that we had more over here than they thought, so they wanted to come back. But your help really, and Hope was put over a good program. They enjoyed themselves, and on behalf of the bishops and all of that, the district out of North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, some out of New York, they said to tell you thank you very much. I've heard from them several times, so they were glad to be here.
Thank you. We're glad to have them. Yeah, we hope they will come out. All right, any other commissioners, comments? Okay, citizens, anybody else out there? Anybody? Okay, you've had an opportunity. That's one thing we do here, again, for the benefit of you, this young journalist here. You don't have to get on the agenda to be heard at City Council in Hazelhurst. If somebody walk out there on that thing and come in the door and I say, hey, can I say something to y'all? I say, yeah, if you behave and come up here, you can come up here and address us at any time. We think that's a good open policy. So that's the practice that we have here as a council. Any remarks you'd like to make?
I'm good.
Good, all right. We do not have any executive business to carry on tonight, so I think Mr. Johnson.
So move.
Mr. Johnson is always ready to move that we adjourn.
Right.
And Mr. Bloodworth is always ready to help you. Motion is made and seconded that we adjourn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Mr. Bloodworth, I need to see you a minute.
All right, I gotta go to class, boy, mark me tardy.
He's a man.
Yes.